For thousands of years, hundreds of emperors ruled China, but among them, there was only one woman. How did she rise to claim the most powerful throne, and why does everyone still talk about her? How does a mere concubine seize control of an empire? Was it love that lifted her up, or murder? Did she rise by brilliance, or by a cursed ambition? This is not just the story of a woman. It is the secret of a power that history cannot forget. Wu Zetian, a ruthless woman or a leader condemned by history. Let's uncover the mystery together. Fact 1. The only female emperor for thousands of years, countless emperors ascended the throne in Chinese history, but among them, there was only one woman, Wu Zetian, who held the title of emperor. In the 7th century China, it was almost impossible for women to hold political power. Society was strictly patriarchal, and even the highest status a woman could achieve was not as empress, but as the emperor's concubine. However, Wu Zetian, despite entering the palace as an ordinary concubine, used her incredible intelligence, political skill, and determination to carve her own path in this rigid system. When her husband fell ill, she took control of the real power in the palace and was eventually declared emperor herself, becoming the first and only female emperor in Chinese history. Her rise was not just a personal success, but a breakthrough that shattered the strictest gender and social norms of her time. Wu Zetian did not only ascend the throne with power, she became a symbol that changed the position of women in a patriarchal state. Fact 2. From concubine to the palace, Wu Zetian entered the palace at a young age as a concubine of Emperor Taizong. At that time, concubines were considered the lowest rank within the palace hierarchy, their main role being to attract the emperor's attention and obey the strict rules of palace life. After Taizong's death, palace customs dictated that concubines be sent to Buddhist temples to live out their lives as nuns. But for Wu Zetian, this was not the end. Taizong's son, Emperor Gaozong, recalled her from the temple and accepted her back as his concubine. This was not just a return to the palace. It marked the beginning of her political rise. Using her skills and intelligence, Wu Zetian captured the emperor's attention and gradually strengthened her position within the palace. This phase was the crucial first step of her remarkable ascent. Fact 3. The alleged murder of her daughter in the secret police network. A secret police network played a crucial role in Wu Zetian's grip on power. She established an extensive espionage system within the palace and across the empire to monitor all potential rivals. One of the darkest examples of this ruthless politics is the allegation that she sacrificed her own daughter to blame Empress Wang for her death. Historical sources claim that Wu Zetian murdered her daughter to weaken the position of her rival, Empress Wang, and then framed Wang for the crime. This shocking event sent tremors through the palace and revealed how far Wu Zetian was willing to go to secure her reign. This story shows that Wu Zetian was not only a powerful leader, but also a terrifying and merciless one. For her, maintaining power was everything, and she did not hesitate to use the harshest methods to achieve her goals. Fact 4. Military successes. Wu Zetian was not only a master of palace politics, but also achieved significant military victories. During her reign, the imperial army was revitalized. She notably revived the Fubing system, which combined agriculture with military service. Soldiers lived in rural areas, farming the land, but were ready to fight when needed. This system not only strengthened the empire's defense, but also ensured the army's sustainability. In 694 AD, under Wu Zetian's leadership, the Chinese army scored a major victory against the Tibetan and Western Turkic coalition. This triumph expanded the empire's borders and extended its influence from the Korean peninsula all the way to Central Asia. Her military strategy not only enhanced the empire's power, but also effectively deterred enemy invasions. Wu Zetian's military policies also aimed to maintain internal stability. A stronger army helped the empire resist chaos and rebellions. These successes highlight her skill not only as a leader, but also as a brilliant strategist. Fact 5. Buddhist propaganda in the Longmen Grottos. Wu Zetian left her mark on history not only through political power, but also through religious influence. She portrayed herself as Maitreya, the future Buddha, to strengthen her legitimacy and gain the support of both the people and the palace elite. To reinforce this divine image, she launched a grand project at the famous Longmen Grottos near Luoyang. There, colossal Buddha statues and sacred sutras were carved directly into the cliffs. These awe-inspiring sculptures weren't just religious symbols. They projected Wu Zetian's rule as holy and divinely ordained. The Longmen Grottos became more than just spiritual monuments. They stood as lasting symbols of her authority and imperial ambition. Through her clever use of Buddhist propaganda, Wu Zetian promoted peace within the empire and solidified her position as not just a ruler, but a chosen one. Fact 6. An agricultural revolution. During Wu Zetian's reign, China witnessed one of the most remarkable agricultural booms in its history. She restructured land distribution more fairly, granting more land to small farmers and uplifting the rural working class. At the same time, she prioritized the construction of irrigation canals, which significantly boosted crop productivity and reduced the risk of drought. Wu Zetian also introduced tax relief for peasants who had long suffered under heavy burdens. These reforms revitalized agriculture, strengthened the economy, and improved the quality of life for millions across the empire. As a result of her initiatives, agricultural output during the Tangzhou era reached some of the highest levels in Chinese history. Her policies laid the foundation for long-term economic and social stability, fueling an era of growth and prosperity. Fact 7. A powerful patron of science and literature. Wu Zetian played a vital role not only in politics and warfare, but also in the advancement of science and literature. To win the support of intellectuals and scholars, she initiated broad reforms and created an environment where knowledge could flourish. She is also remembered as a rare advocate for women's education during her time, encouraging their involvement in literature and philosophy. One of the most remarkable achievements of her reign was the compilation of biographies of notable women, a groundbreaking work that highlighted the accomplishments and importance of women throughout history. It documented the lives of female leaders, scholars, and poets, bringing their contributions to the forefront. Wu Zetian also supported the field of astronomy. She ordered updates to astronomical calendars and backed the study of celestial phenomena, crucial for maintaining accurate agricultural cycles in state governance. She herself had a poetic spirit and organized literary competitions in the imperial court, nurturing the creative talents of the time. Her deep love and support for the arts turned her era into one of intellectual brilliance. Through her cultural patronage, Wu Zetian secured her legacy not only as a powerful and ruthless ruler, but also as a lasting figure in the history of science, literature, and women's empowerment. Fact 8. Empowerment of women. Wu Zetian's reign marked not only her own rise to power, but also a turning point in the history of women in China. At that time, women's roles in society were extremely limited, and access to political life was nearly impossible. Yet Wu Zetian, through her own example, proved that women could hold immense power and influence far beyond domestic duties. She actively encouraged women's access to education and literature, expanded their roles in court politics, and gave female scholars, poets, and thinkers a platform to be heard. Works like the biographies of notable women were compiled during her rule, highlighting the importance and achievements of women throughout history. Wu Zetian's reign opened new paths in a deeply patriarchal system, showing that it was indeed possible for women to gain authority and recognition. Her legacy continues to inspire female leaders in China and across the world, even centuries later. Her life proves that women can rise to the highest levels of politics, science, and culture. All it takes is determination, vision, and strength. Fact 9. Wu Zetian's monumental architectural legacy. Wu Zetian left a powerful mark not only in politics and religion, but also in architecture and culture. During her reign, grand monuments such as the Longmen Grottos and the Qianling Mausoleum were constructed, both standing as enduring symbols of her power and vision. The Longmen Grottos, located near Luoyang, form a massive rock-cut complex featuring giant Buddha statues and engraved sacred texts. This site symbolized Wu Zetian's Buddhist devotion and her desire to portray her rule as sacred and divinely justified. The Qianling Mausoleum, the burial site of Wu Zetian and her husband Emperor Gaozong, remains one of the best preserved and most magnificent imperial tombs in Chinese history. It showcases not only architectural brilliance, but also the artistic and cultural sophistication of the era. These structures are not just religious or funerary sites. They are lasting testaments to Wu Zetian's impact on world history and Chinese civilization. Her architectural legacy reflects not only her political and spiritual authority, but also her patronage of art, culture, and imperial grandeur. Fact 10. Downfall and legacy. Wu Zetian's reign marked one of the most extraordinary and controversial periods in the 70-plus-year history of the Tang dynasty, but her rise to power and time on the throne were not universally welcomed. In 705 AD, a renewed power struggle within the palace erupted, leading to Wu Zetian's forced abdication. She was removed from power, sent into seclusion, and died later that same year at the age of 81. Historical sources have portrayed her through different lenses. Confucian historians often painted her as a ruthless, manipulative tyrant who used brutal tactics to maintain power. However, modern scholars highlight her reformist spirit and recognize her as a rare and powerful example of female leadership in ancient China. Her legacy holds significant weight, especially in terms of gender and power. In a rigidly patriarchal society, Wu Zetian shattered norms and proved that women could rule with strength, strategy, and authority. Her life and reign continue to inspire historians, writers, and artists to this day. Wu Zetian's story is not just a historical record. It is a lasting symbol of ambition, power, and the potential of female leadership. Her journey reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, one can carve a path forward through willpower and intellect. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means a lot and helps me keep bringing more fascinating stories from history to you. See you in the next one.